Welcome to the Happy Black Woman Podcast, where we're on a mission to empower women to transform their lives through personal development and entrepreneurship. We bring you all the information, inspiration, and motivation you need to create a life of happiness, success, and freedom. Now, please welcome your host, the happy Black woman herself, Rosetta Thurman.
Hello, ladies, and welcome back to the Happy Black Woman Podcast. This is Rosetta Thurman from happyblackwoman.com, and I'm so excited to be back with you today. We have been rocking and rolling and getting ready for our upcoming live event, the Location Independent Business Academy live 3-day intensive happening in Washington, D.C. By the time you listen to this, there may still be early bird tickets left. So if you want to come, the website that you need to go to register is Location Independent 2016. That's locationindependent2016.com. And when you do that, you'll be able to get your ticket registered so you can join us in DC for 3 days of training, networking, and implementation. You can actually bring your laptop with you and get training and get work done around your branding, your messaging, your online content, your website, your products and services, everything that you need to create a location independent business and lifestyle. And the website is locationindependent2016.com. So now that we have been preparing for this event, we've put together a brand new lineup of guests for you. And today's guest is our first one in our new lineup for the Happy Black Woman Podcast. And her name is Kim Davis. You guys might know her online as Kimpossible. Many of you in the Happy Black Woman community know her. And Kim has been in our Happy Black Woman Mastermind program, really growing her business and walking the talk as it relates to creating a freedom-based lifestyle and business. She is on the path to becoming location independent. And I just want to take a moment to welcome her today. Thank you for being on the show, Kim.
Thank you, Rosetta. Thank you so much.
This is actually Kim's second appearance on the podcast. She came on a few months ago. People loved listening to her and were so inspired by her story and her message for women all over the world. So for those who may not have listened, you can go back and listen to Kim's podcast, her episode. And for those who don't know Kim yet, I thought it would be really awesome, Kim, if you could share a little bit with our listeners about what you do.
Oh, I would love to. Thank you, Rosetta, for such a wonderful welcome. I am a Christian inspirational speaker and coach, and I help women all over the world, help them walk in their God-given purpose. I believe that connecting with God and really developing your personal relationship with Him will really help you to walk in your purpose on purpose. So through my speaking and through my coaching, I equip women with their spiritual vision and practical knowledge so that they can also walk in their God-given purpose successfully, because there's so many things that can really block us in walking in our purpose and living a fulfilled life. And so I help them navigate their way so that they can walk in their God-given purpose.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. Mm-hmm. I know that your mission resonates with so many of our listeners. And for those of you who are looking for Kim's previous episode she was on, it was actually episode number 30 of the podcast. And it was called Walk in Your God-Given Purpose on Purpose. And so many people resonate with that mission, I think, because many of us are still trying to find our purpose, trying to discover it, figure out what it is. And so maybe you could speak a little bit to why is that such a difficult thing for women to figure out what their purpose is? What are the challenges to knowing what that is and figuring out what that is?
There's so many challenges that can really stop someone from walking in their God-given purpose or even starting to find their God-given purpose. There are so many, but I have found one reason for me, number one, was myself. I stopped myself from walking in my God-given purpose. I mean, years ago, I was very unhappy, very unfulfilled. However, no one knew because I looked good on the outside. I had my family, I had the house and the car and everything, they're like, well, on the outside, she has a job and everything. She looks good. But on the inside, I was broken. I was completely broken in so many areas of my life. So behind closed doors, no one really knows what goes on but you. And, by the time those same closed doors, no one can help you make progress but you. Because only you know what's really going on. Mm-hmm. And once I connected with God and really started to develop my personal relationship with him, I was able to really live oh my goodness, my life now is just amazing and so blessed and so peaceful and so wonderful. And I just really want to share this with so many other women who think that it's hopeless, that they've messed up so much that there's no way that they can come out of it, that there's no way that they can live a fulfilled life, that there's no way for them to have hope of any good future. But there is hope, absolutely, and it can be done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I love your approach for finding your purpose. Is very personal. And, for me and for so many of our listeners, the spiritual aspect of purpose is what some people may call a calling, like having a calling of something that you're just supposed to do in life. And it's not something, it may not be the thing you went to school for, to college for, or whatever it is, just something that has been a calling on your life, maybe even since you were a little girl. And so I want to get your insight on what are some of the ways that people can start to figure this out? Because I think what's so challenging, what you just talked about, I was just listening to you share about, some people think that it's hopeless. And, in our Happy Black Woman tribe, we get emails and messages all the time about people who have had negative experiences in their life, or maybe they've made mistakes. They feel like they've made so many mistakes or too many mistakes where they can't come back from it, or they can't change their lives around. And maybe they've just even stopped listening for God's voice, whatever God means for them, whether it's God or spirit or the universe, whatever you call your higher power, just stop listening for that voice. They're running. They're so busy. They're putting all these things in their way and they can't get quiet. So for you, when you hear that from women, where do you advise them to start?
I always advise them to start with themselves. Number one, making a decision. You must make a decision to move forward in your life. Because if you don't make a decision, you're not going to go anywhere. And actually not making a decision is a decision. Okay. Yeah. So by not doing anything, you're making the decision to say, no, I'm not going to, move forward in my life. So number one, you have to make a decision to move forward.
So let's stay there for a moment, because I think this piece is so important. There are so many places in someone's life, in a woman's life, where she gets a chance to make a decision and she does not make a decision. So tell me a little bit about how you made your own decision, just as an example for the ladies who are listening. What was it that finally, you look good on the outside, but what was it that had you say, okay, I really need to get myself together and really pay attention and decide that I'm going to follow my purpose?
Oh, man. My decision-making point came at a very extremely difficult part of my life where I was literally deciding between life and death. I had suicidal intentions, and I got to a point in my life where I was thinking I would rather maybe just die instead of continuing to live like this, because the way I was living was literally my hell on earth and I could not take anymore. So I knew I didn't want to die. I have 2 beautiful daughters and a husband. I did not want to die. However, I was in such extreme pain that I had to make a decision. Either I die, take my life, or I give my life to my God, because I heard about God and I had heard that he could do anything. And I had tried doctors, counselors. I had tried talking to my friends. I had tried doing it on my own. Nothing worked. So I had no other choices. This was my choice. So I had to make a decision. And so I chose God. And that was my deciding factor. And at that point, I decided to really go 110%, all in. It was all or none, because I wanted to live my best life. I didn't want to just live a life. And I definitely didn't want to live this hellish, life on earth. I wanted to live my best life. So either I got to start living my best life or none at all. That's it.
Yeah.
All in.
Yeah. I know that it's not easy talking about that period in our lives, but I think that we all have to get to that point, and whether it is, getting to the point where you would, like you did, like you would rather die than to live the life you've been living, there's some type of realization that comes to you that's like, I cannot keep on living like this. And for some of us, it is really thinking like, is this all there is to life? If there is, then I don't want to be here. And it's amazing that we can be honest about that on this show, because for Black women all over the world, this is many of our reality. And we don't even feel, strong enough to share it with anyone. And to know that there is a path that you can follow, even if you don't know exactly what it looks like, is what gives people hope, is what gives people a sense that maybe there is something else out there for me. And so I want to underscore that for everyone listening, because if you're at that point right now, or somebody who's at that point right now, some people think that this is the point where you can't come back from this. Like you're so rock bottom that you can't come back from it. But this is actually the point at which, what's the Greek mythology? It's like, the phoenix rises out of the ashes.
Yes, absolutely.
So it's like, it's like your whole life has been burned to the ground, everything that you know, but this is the opportunity for you to recreate yourself, to transform yourself. And for you, it was giving yourself spiritually and allowing yourself to be used in that way. So beautiful, beautiful revelations. And want to hear a little bit more about the process that you went through. So I know that you teach this process to your clients now, but can you give us like the Cliff's Notes of what that process looked like as you went through and you started to see what worked, what didn't work? Take us from the top.
So the top is, number one, you make a decision. Number two, and the rest of the process is just pray, seek, and obey his word. That is my process. And to make a long story really, really short, it's just those three words: pray, seek, and obey. Because I believe prayer is powerful and it opens up the door for God to work in your life. So praying his word is one way to help you really trust in it. So the next step is to seek his word. And one of the many ways to seek his words is to read the Bible. And you want to do this, you want to seek his word in a way that makes sense to you. So, hey, if you don't like to read, they have audio Bibles. If you don't like the audio, you can look at preachers, and go that route, the televangelists, or some people have podcasts. Other people like to go to Bible study and stuff. So it's just however it makes sense to you, that is the way that you need to go to really seek God's word. Because God has already said everything he needs to say. And one of the reasons why you can't hear is because you don't know what he said. So that's really important piece in the process, is really seeking and making sense to you in a way so that you can move forward to finally obey his word. So you have to make sense of his word so that you can actually obey it and apply it to your life. So those are the three steps: pray, seek, and obey, that I take my clients through and that I went through trial and error. And these always work for me. Always, 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 always. And amazing things happen.
So, I know that we have a lot of spiritual and religious women as part of our tribe, which is why I love having these conversations. I'm more on the spiritual, not religious side, but I do definitely follow your process as it relates to, prayer and meditation and all of that stuff. So I am curious, like let's say there's the woman who's listening, and this is just, I know what a lot of listeners are thinking right now, like, okay, they feel like they pray, they feel like they do their part to seek the word and the scripture that is applicable to their life and all of that. But I think one of the places where it's very difficult is to obey. So can you talk a little bit about that piece? Because even if you're not religious, there's this idea for me that if you know the truth, like if you get quiet, you pray, you meditate, whatever you want to do, and the truth is revealed to you, whether that's in a religious or holy book or, just a voice, your higher self speaking to you and through you, then it's like some people are still not fully believing it, or they allow all these different roadblocks to get in the way. Like they're doing the first two steps, right? How do they finally break through and really master the third step?
That's a great question. That is a great question. Really, obey is a verb. It is action. It is something you do. It's not something you think about and philosophize. You know what I'm trying to say?
Philosophize. Just make up words here on Happy Black Woman Podcast.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's action. It's a verb. You obey the word, and you can even equate it to mindset shifts, right? People don't need to be told what they need to do. They already know what they need to do, Rosetta. They know the truth. They know what's right. They know what's wrong. They already know this in their mind. But for some reason, they can't do it, right? They can't obey it. They can't move forward. Like, why? Well, it's because they haven't had that quote unquote mindset shift, or they haven't had that connection with God that they can actually get it and understand it so that they can move forward. Or maybe they just don't even have the motivation to move forward. They know what they need to do. A lot of people know, say, for certain diets or something, I'm about to get on a diet, but they know not to eat the chocolate cake. But you know what? I want to eat the chocolate cake anyway. It's what I want to do, right? Well, what I want to do comes from my heart. It doesn't come from my mind. My mind already knows what not to do, but my heart wants to do it. So it's really changing your heart, or what you would call it a mindset shift, so that you can actually start believing what you know is right. And to do that, you have to want to do it. So what is your want to? That is the area that you really need to focus on and do that developmental process so that you can really do it even without thinking about it. It starts to become a habit. Become a good habit, because this is what you want to do.
Right. I think this goes really deep too, as it relates to, I think it's, I forget who it was. I think it's Maya Angelou that talked about, when you know better, you do better. And so it sounds to me like what you're saying is, knowing goes deeper than like just reading or intellectually knowing something. It has to be like knowing in your heart that this is what you're meant to do. And when it comes to like finding your purpose and being aware of your God-given purpose, a lot of people, they use not knowing as the reason why they're not happy, they're not fulfilled, whatever. Like, I don't know my purpose. I have no idea. These are women who are, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, in their 70s saying, I can't believe that I've been on this earth for all these decades and I still don't know what I want to do. And I'm always pushing back with people and saying, it's not that you don't know what you're here for. It's that you haven't yet committed to it. You're scared of it. You're running from it.
Absolutely.
So what do you say to people to women who are like, well, no, I don't know my purpose. I need to find it. How can I walk in it when I feel like I don't know what it is? What's your response to that?
I actually don't even respond to that straightforward, because it all goes back to connecting with God and having your personal, unique relationship with him, because he's going to tell you. And matter of fact, guess what? You could have more than one God-given purpose. What? Yeah, you could actually have more than one. You could actually be doing your God-given purpose right now and not even know it. Because in different seasons of our lives, we grow, we change, we develop, into different things. Some people have it lucky and they already know their one purpose and that's it for the rest of their lives. And that's great. But there are other people who are unique and who are different and who may have more than one or more than one in a season, or throughout their lives. So, a lot of people are looking for that one purpose, that one thing. And I hesitate to even answer that, because it may not be just one. It may not be, you're just looking for this one thing.
Yeah, and I think having that broad perspective can be helpful to a lot of women, because I think sometimes they believe they have to choose like one thing out of all the things that maybe they feel called to do. And then, there's also this idea that, okay, if I commit to it, if I admit what it is, if I start telling people what it is, then now I have to change my life. I have to do some things that are different. And that's what I, was sharing earlier, in which, I'm on the spiritual side, and I'm like, we're being given messages all the time. If you're listening, if you're paying attention, but a lot of the time our fear can keep us from saying, okay, I'm going to do this because what if I fail? So what are your thoughts on that? Like, can we fail at our purpose? Is it possible to fail if we have a God-given purpose?
I don't think so. No, I remember you had a wonderful previous podcast. I can't think of her name, but she said, you either win or you learn. There's no such thing as failure. And I believe that kind of equates to your God-given purpose too. You either learn something or you either win. There's really no failure because God can use every little thing, even the nothing that you have, he can use and turn it into something so beautiful. So no, there is no failure. There's just you learn or you win.
Yeah. That's beautiful. I think that was Melinda Emerson, the small biz lady.
Oh, yes.
On the podcast.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah. I love that we have this library of amazing women who've been on the show. I really like that because it's a great reminder that when you are walking in your purpose, I think the rules of the game change, that success looks very different than what the world may see as success. So just because it may not be the career that you get paid for, at your job, or it's not the degree that you went to school for, or whatever it is, that doesn't mean that you fail. Like, you have to go to school for the exact thing that you think you had a calling for. Like, I went to school for English, and, I thought I was going to be a poet, but, I realized that I was called to use my writing skills for different things that would fulfill my purpose. And so some people would, call that a failure. I thought I was called to be a poet. I didn't become a poet. So now I'm never going to write again. Right. So, but that's not, I think it's good to remember that, when you're walking your purpose, you cannot fail, because I think the rules of the game are just different. They're just different.
Absolutely are, because I believe it's the unique personal relationship that you have with God is completely different from the woman next door to you. Completely different. Your relationship with him is going to be different. And so, my next door neighbor can't tell me that my relationship with God is wrong because I do certain things that she doesn't do. It doesn't even apply. Like you said, it's completely different. My success will look completely different from the other person next door. We cannot continue to compare ourselves with each other, including where it goes for your God-given purpose. You can't compare. There is no comparison. We're all different: apples, oranges, bananas. You can't really compare them. They're just unique all by themselves. And it's okay.
But what if you're an apple, right? And you keep trying to be a banana? It's never going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
Because you weren't meant for that. And you keep trying to put yourself into that skin, and it doesn't fit.
Right.
It doesn't fit. I love that. I really love this discussion, because this is where so many women are right now. And I know, Kim, that you have some resources that help women to, work through this, especially as a spiritual or religious woman, to have that lens that Kim puts on it, I think is very unique within our tribe. So can you tell the ladies just a little bit about the tool or the resource that you have that can support them in starting this process?
Yes. I would like to gift your audience with my Baby Steps Workbook. And it's to help them in the process of taking those little steps so that they can help to position themselves for their God-given purpose. Because I believe, every little bit counts. So a lot of people think that, because I haven't gone to the religious college, or because I'm not a priest, or because I'm not, don't know the whole Bible, I can't really go that route. But that's not true. Every little step counts. So with my Baby Steps Workbook, it helps you to really take focus and get you focused and get some clarity so that you can start taking those steps to walk in your God-given purpose. So it's just a starting point. So the Baby Steps Workbook can be found on my website, and my website is kimdavisfortheone.com. And you just spell it all out, Kim Davis, FORTHEONE.com. And they can download the free workbook to help support them in their process so they can go from procrastination to walking in their God-given purpose, even if it's just baby steps for right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it is a process. It really is. And it's a worthwhile process. I think that's what a lot of people don't get. It's a lifelong journey. And I would prefer to be on a purpose-driven journey than one that is driven by what other people think I should be doing or whatever it is. Even if it's cloudy right now, at least you're on the path to where you need to be. So what a beautiful gift. I love that you can go to Kim's website, kimdavisfortheone.com, and download her free Baby Steps workbook. And then if people wanted to work with you, like, can you just share a little bit, like a synopsis on how do clients work with you if they wanted to work with you one-on-one and do this work privately with you?
Well, I do offer private coaching for those who want to work with me. And that also is on my website. Same page, kimdavisfortheone.com. Everything is there so that you could work with me one-on-one. And I just take them through the baby steps process, and everything is really customized to the person. So I can't even really say, what it will be because it's really unique to each individual.
Yeah.
That
So
I work
because every
with
person,
to really get them.
it's not like they have their own, even though the process is the same, your pray, seek, and obey. You've got this process that you can walk people through. But, for everyone, the pray part might be different. The seek part might be different. Yeah. And then the obey part, that sounds like there might be some accountability around that as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. As you kind of listen, because, that's the biggest thing about being an inspirational speaker. And my whole business, Happy Black Woman, is built on motivating people, but nobody wants it to stop there. Anybody who's a teacher or a coach or whatever, they don't want it to stop there. So people reading their spiritual books or scriptures, of course you get inspired. People go to church, they get inspired. Like, anybody going into any church, you're going to be inspired in some way. Yep. But then when you come out, it's like, okay, how do you stay on track with that feeling that you had? So I love that you offer, that to people. So Kim, I am just so grateful that you have been in our tribe. You have been a part of our Happy Black Woman Mastermind, building your business as it relates to helping women find and walk in their God-given purpose. And I just want to say I'm so proud of you and the work that you created.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, this is what it looks like, right? This is what I love having, women on the show who are really walking their talk and also just showing you guys what it looks like to be a Black woman standing in her power, to say that, this is something that Kim is passionate about and she went and she turned this into a business. You guys don't have to do that, but so many of you email us and ask, how can you do that? And this is just another example out of the guests we've had of how you can do this, right? This is what she does.
Do it successfully.
Yes, definitely. So I just want to invite you guys who are thinking about going through this process to come and join us in DC. You can meet Kim, you can meet me, you can meet the ladies in our Happy Black Woman Tribe. We have over 100 women coming, Black women leaders who are coming in person. So this is just a reminder to take this conversation offline where we are all working on fulfilling our purpose together, no matter what anyone else says, that we can create a business helping other people with the passion and the skills that we were given, even from birth, that we get to put it out into the world and create a dream lifestyle for ourselves and for our families. And so the event in DC is called the Location Independent Business Academy Live 3-Day Intensive. It's happening October 14th through the 16th, and you can get your early bird ticket at locationindependent2016.com. What a beautiful way to take people through to the next step and have you meet Kim, meet some of our other guests, and get what you need. So Kim, thank you again so much for being on the show. Can we just tell everybody one more time where they can go to get your Baby Steps workbook?
Yes, they can get their Baby Steps workbook on my website at kimdavisfortheone.com. Also, if they would like to work with me further, same website, kimdavisfortheone.com, and they can learn how they can work with me one-on-one. Thank you, Rosetta, so much for this wonderful chance to be on your podcast. I love it. I listen to it for myself. And I just want to thank you so much for continuing to grow the Happy Black Woman movement. I love it.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for being one of our happy Black women. All right, everybody. Make sure that if you haven't listened to our previous podcast episodes, to go back and listen to all of our previous guests, drop in amazing inspiration and knowledge on you for free. And until next time, have a beautiful day. Bye, everybody.
Thank you for joining us on the Happy Black Woman podcast. If you want all the show's notes from today's episode, go to happyblackwomanpodcast.com. Plus, we'll send you a copy of Rosetta's free life mapping workbook. We look forward to empowering you next time. And until then, do something this week that makes you happy.